Hey, Off-Season After Dark fans. Glad to have you here for episode 30. When we started this individual one last summer, didn't know we'd make it this far, but we have. And I'm glad to come to you tonight with one of our whale and blue blood schools as guests. So we have Dan and Big Cass from the Bunch of Nuts to talk Ohio State. It's not too often we have a school this caliber who has such big names and high profile coaching portal changes in the off season. So glad to have you guys here.
Thank you for having us, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're glad to be
here. Absolutely, yeah. Always nice to have the marquee teams. Our fans. I like getting down in the weeds too with some of the lesser known programs, but certainly the fans want to hear about how the Buckeye off season's going and the big names, both portal coaching wise and with the early season matchup against Texas. That'll always be a big one. So maybe just start. One thing I always start with for our audience is what got you guys in the space. What got you following Ohio State? And then importantly, where can our fans find you guys and follow you?
Yeah, I would just say passion, right, Cass?
Nice.
I think I went to Ohio State, and then Cass is just the embodiment of like a true diehard Ohio State fan. Like I went to Ohio State, met my wife there, and my son's name is Troy after Troy Smith. But Cass is like the embodiment of like a super fan. He's more Buckeye than I am, honestly, because he's he bleeds scarlet and gray. So I mean, it's just. I would just say
I just saw the forearm tap, so that does tell me yes.
And I got one coming this Saturday. I'm getting I turned the famous Eddie George running away from Notre Dame into Brutus, and I'm getting that tattooed on my arm, add to my Buckeye arm.
Nice.
This weekend.
All of mine are on my left leg, and they're movie based. So
yeah. No, it's just we're. At the end of the day, we're college football addicts. We're junkies. We are. I mean, it's kind of funny when we created the show. All the names are kind of taken because like Ohio State's such a big name that podcasts or began to kind of boom in 2018. And we're like, oh, what should we do? And we're like,
I mean, we had names like we were going like, oh, let's do Dot the I, and then all of a sudden we look, Dot the I is taken. It's like, oh, let's do Cross the Field. That one's taken. So we just landed what we landed with.
So yeah, it was like we're the Bunch of Nuts podcast because like in one of the fight songs it goes no, we're all a bunch of nuts. So we obviously put the though because it's like the Ohio State bunch of nuts. Like it's one of the fight songs, and it's kind of like edgy, kind of like if you're looking at podcast names like what is this? And like it kind of started out like kind of a joke. We were kind of like the premise was like we were kind of making like lighthearted fun at like how passionate our fan base is because like people are like, oh, you're like they call them the lunatic fringe now.
Yeah.
Herb Street said, and like our fan base is very passionate, and you could see on Twitter and everything like how crazy they can be. And we kind of start out of just like as the crazies. I feel like we are a little crazy, but I think we've gotten more moderate in the past couple of years. I think we've calmed down ourselves.
Good.
But yeah, it's just passion.
We started off as unhinged. I mean, just like
I mean,
I think what really got us going was during the Urban Meyer scandal. That's when we first started doing our podcast, and we just started growing. And Dan and I just became great friends, and best of buds. We hang out outside of the podcast. Been at his son's birthday parties multiple times. He's been in my man cave. He's seen all my Ohio State jerseys hanging up in my house. And we just kept it going. And when we landed with the Silver Bulletin, we had no idea that we'd grown. I think since we've been with the Silver Bulletin, we've probably grown at least 4,000 followers.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, no, TikTok too. We have our TikTok account that does well. Our Facebook is good. We don't have Instagram. Everyone always asks us, "Oh, do you have an Instagram account?" I'm like, we're not Instagram models. I don't think
we kind of stepped away from the Facebook world unless we're like it's something big, because obviously Twitter is where it's been at, and I think everybody knows as a podcaster, Twitter is where to go, or X if you want to call it X.
always Twitter to us. That's where all.
I still call it Twitter too, but yeah, like I know it. Whatever you say, I know. I'll get you. I'll follow you there.
And then, Cass, me and Cass also played football too. Like, so like I played in high school. Cass played in high school. Cass still coaches too.
Awesome.
He's coaching middle schoolers. Had a great first season last year. He's gonna be coaching again. So it's like we're just passionate about the game, man. Like, we just love football.
So here's the ironic thing, Mike. So the school that I coach here in the local area, Lancaster High School, are the school colors of the two schools I hate the most, Notre Dame and Michigan.
Okay.
And it's kind of ironic. Like our apparel, our coach's apparel is the maize and blue, and then our uniforms are blue and gold. But luckily we have the blue. Our varsity team has the blue face mask, so we look more like Navy than Notre Dame.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think it's ironic that, and like my family says, it's basically karma on me for, I'm coaching a school that has those colors,
No, that's cool though. Yeah, I like I told you guys off screen, I played as well and then coached at a few schools. So yeah, definitely this has been a nice transition to stay involved, in the sport in some way and have like-minded people, like you guys to talk and
you just meet you meet a bunch of cool people just doing this too.
Yeah,
you build connections.
Absolutely.
It's you build friendships, and it just makes honestly watching the game so much more enjoyable too when like people on the other sides of like different fan bases and stuff, and you hear thoughts. Because like the games this day too, like gambling has become so much a part of it, and I'm not like into that I'm not really into that right now. I'm just like I like the banter. I like discussing.
I myself don't gamble much, but one thing I did find that it seemed like the viewers enjoyed later in the year was talking about props that I liked, and then picks against the line and the spread, and not just straight up. So.
Yeah, no, we just like the ball. We like the X's and O's and just see talking strategy, Monday morning quarterbacking, that good stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. So let's briefly talk about Buckeyes. Great season, fantastic year, but didn't end the way you guys wanted to be blunt. So overall, in looking back, doing a post-mortem, how will you guys remember 2025?
Okay, I'll let you take this one, Cass.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that Ohio State would have been 10-2, made it to the quarterfinal, obviously, and lost to the quarterfinals with all the departures that we had, all the, bringing in Matt Patricia, redshirt freshman quarterback, starting, or I think he's a sophomore, redshirt start, one of the two.
Yeah.
Brand new quarterback coming in. Yeah, we had Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, but yet we beat Texas and Michigan. I would say, if you're looking back now after everything, the dust has settled and we've kind of regressed a little, very successful season in my book.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people respect how tough that is to do with a new QB, like you had mentioned there. That's tough.
And you beat Texas at home, and you finally get that monkey off your back and beat Michigan again. Yeah. And
you had quite a few linemen to replace too going into the year.
Yeah. So I think a relatively successful, yes. Does it suck to see All-Americans like Caden McDonald, Sonny Styles, and Caleb Downs go out the way they did? Yes, it does suck, but looking back, it's like this was a very successful football season.
Yeah.
I think we graded it like a B+ or A-. The fact that we beat Michigan, like that was when we did our preview going into this season, our number one goal was beat Michigan.
Okay.
And anything else is cherry on top. We accomplished that goal. We don't have to hear about the Michigan trolls for another, 365 days or whatever. I don't know how many days until the game.
One of my good buddies is a Michigan grad, and he would periodically text me the Twitter page of the counter. So how many days it was?
So yeah, like exactly. I mean, I thought it was a cool season though. Like the Texas game too was fun. It was like we got legal on Brutus for last time. I got to go to that. I thought that was really awesome. We had a quarterback that went to the Heisman ceremony. Caleb Downs won the Jim Thorpe Award. We got some hardware. Overall, and a great defense we had. Overall, it was successful. It's just, I think the way it ended, it was unfortunate. You barely lose to Indiana. You barely lose. Miami beat us more than Indiana, but that was a close game, but not as close as the score.
Yeah.
The two teams that beat us go to the national championship, so I'm able to stomach it as a fan. I'm like, oh, they were just straight up better. We had our chances. There's no SEC hypotheticals here. Like the two better teams beat us, end the story, and I can live with that. Like,
I think that also too, with both those schools making the national championship, kind of made it feel a little bit better. I think if Ole Miss would have beat Miami, and let's say Oregon would have beat Indiana, I think we would have a little bit of a sour taste still in our mouth.
That's fair.
The sour taste is still there because the way we lost to Miami, like Indiana, I'm not stressing the Indiana loss.
Because we should have beat them. Like if we make a kick, that's a completely.
But also the Big Ten game, and I had said this on our group show the week before. Other than being the conference champ, which is important, it was a relatively meaningless game. You both knew you had buys going into that game already.
Yeah,
it was. It's honestly, you can make the argument too that it was like, if Ohio State kind of got screwed a little bit by getting the second seed, I feel like we should have got like the third or fourth seed. I feel like the path would have been a little easier because we got Miami.
And I think with all the focus being on Michigan, hyping up Michigan, the Heartline story that week before.
Yeah.
I think if Ryan Day would have just let Brian Hartline walk before we got ready for the I think looking back now, like, okay, all that was going to happen. We lose to Indiana. But I think if Ryan Day would have just let Brian Hartline go to South Florida, do his job, and then completely take over, then I think the Cotton Bowl probably would have looked a lot different. Now, I don't think Reuben Bain was being stopped in the playoffs. Like, he was contained against Indiana. Do I think we lose? Do I think we lose by 2 scores? No. But I think if there'd been a less distraction, if Ryan Day would have let, Hartline, go ahead and do your thing in South Florida. We'll take care of this.
I mean, I remember I tweeted when it happened too, I was like, this is like such a disaster. And everyone's like, you're being so negative. How is this a disaster? And I'm like, guys, we're coming off the Michigan win. All the guys are just watching the highlight videos. They're all just watching all the edits, like the Carnell Tate catch and Julian saying in the Hartline leaving. Ryan Day, it has to scramble, convince like Chris Henry Jr., all these recruits to stay. And we got the biggest game of the year coming up on Saturday. And it's like, it's Wednesday. And like Ryan Day is still doing damage control. And I'm like, this is disastrous. And everyone's like, you're being negative. I'm like, I'm not being negative. Like he has to prep this game.
And that's where the college football season calendar needs to change.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's interesting that a similar talk that you guys just brought up was one I also had with our Biscuits and SEC crew, who are Texas A&M guys. Well, Colin Klein was leaving for his alma mater, K-State, but also was still around in their game against Miami. So it's two teams who, were both losing their offensive coordinator, but they were around for that game. So it was kind of an influx situation there.
It's just odd because they're lame duck, and it's like they're focusing on because they have a new job and they have to build a program. There's going to be distractions. You're ignorant if you don't think otherwise. Some people are like, oh no, it'll be fun. Yeah. No, it's other guys on staff step up. They have like I know. I think it was when with Florida. I forgot who their OC was, but it was who's Dan? I think it was Dan Mullen.
Mr. Faulkner is the new one. Is that not who you're talking about?
No, like back in the day, like Dan Mullen, when he was like the OC and he was leaving for a job. It was like
for Mississippi State,
like Tim Tebow basically had to run the whole. Like he had the game plan. He was basically like the OC. I think it was like Zach Smith or something too. Was like playing like it's like like your support guys become basically coordinators because it's there's not enough time in the day for like it. I like Heartline and stuff right now. It's
that's fair.
It's not. it's not like a bravado thing. It's just like a fact. It's like it's just you have too much on your plate.
Absolutely. So like getting into now this off season, pretty successful one. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Arthur Smith and Cortez Hankton are the only two full-time coaches that are coming into the staff, right?
Yeah.
Correct. The special teams coordinator we just.
Special team coordinator. Yeah.
The guy from Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah. Disher, that's it. Yeah, Robbie Disher is his name.
Disher.
I forgot about him. Yeah, a lot of success in Illinois though. They were definitely good in that segment of the ball.
They had. I was posting highlights. Like they had a punt return touchdown this year, game 1.
Yeah.
They kicked I believe at least 2 game-winning field goals.
I remember the one against USC. Yep.
And then the one against Tennessee. Now that one was like a chip shot, but it was.
Yeah.
But like from the most part, I do like the special teams he brings over. Illinois fans are telling me that he does not really. I guess the punting is an issue, but I'm like that's always been an issue with Ohio State. I feel like in recent years, so
the punting game has also changed significantly because now if you need one, you just go to Pro Kick Australia and get guys.
Yeah.
We tried with Nick McLarty, but
we did.
Yeah. I forgot about him. Yeah,
but I like the special teams coordinator because he's aggressive. Like he's not afraid to coach aggressiveness, and I'm glad that Ryan Day has finally hired a competent special teams coordinator instead of trying to have the whole staff coach special teams or trying to have a guy that basically should be in a grad assistant role coaching the special teams. So I'm just glad that finally Ryan Day is kind of, and I think even with Cortez coming in, I know a lot of people complain, that he's not that good, blah, blah, blah. But there's one thing, if you remember, Georgia and LSU wide receivers under Cortez can block. One of the things that Ohio State struggled in their perimeter running under Hartline throughout his whole years was the wide receivers blocking downfield. We haven't had good blocking receivers since KJ Hill, Terry McLaurin, Ben Victor.
Been a while. Yeah.
It's been a while, and that was Zach Smith's crew who did block, and so as wide receivers we've had, Jeremiah Smith, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
None of them blocked that well downfield. So bringing him in, Cortez Hankton, is going to help. And then obviously bringing Arthur Smith's aggressive power run. I think Ohio State's going to be in good shape especially with 2 solid sophomore running backs coming back. And it's going to help Julian Sand.
Is Smith going to coach the QBs now? Is Fessler still going to do that? How is their
And Dad will always have his hands in there too.
Yeah.
From my understanding, and at first I was kind of critical of the Arthur Smith hire. I didn't love it at first. I was like, I don't know how this is a fit, but it sounds from what we've heard, it's basically Arthur Smith's going to come in and focus in the areas where Ohio State's kind of deficient, which is like the power run game. And with like our tight ends, and
he was an O-line tight end guy, so that makes sense.
And that would be the fit that I would like to see. If Arthur Smith's going to come in and just run the Arthur Smith show, I'm going to be very concerned. But if he's going to come in and supplement what he does well, I'm all for it.
Mixed in with what Ryan Day does well, I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've calmed down a little bit. And then with Hankton, though, I like the hire. He has NFL experience. Like he played, I believe, with the Jaguars a couple of years. So it's like, like one, you got a guy who played in the league. Like, is he the recruiter that Brian Hartline is? No. Brian Hartline was the #1 recruiter in the nation. Like, just absolute monster at recruiting, getting guys.
Yeah.
That's a loss in itself. But when it comes to like development and stuff, I don't know if it's that much of a loss. Because Hankton, like I said, has coached a lot of good players like at Georgia.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know some LSU fans don't like him. They've had some things to say, but like Cass said, like he's a great, his guys block. And what cost Ohio State against Miami was the fact that Jeremiah Smith didn't block his guy on the pick 6 that got the screen pass. That was a 6, because if Jeremiah Smith blocks that guy, it's arguably a 14-point swing if Ohio State scores.
Or the worst case scenario, if he blocks that guy, we get a pick penalty. pass interference pick penalties.
Yeah.
And we kick a field goal.
Yeah. So, well, or they just don't.
I mean, the throw was behind the line of scrimmage, so the pick doesn't come into play there. But
But it's just if we block it, we're not talking about this. We might be talking about how we played in the Natty or lost. It's just blocking so key, and especially when you have a guy like Bo Jackson too. If you get Bo Jackson in space on the outside on the perimeter, oh my gosh, he's like. That's one guy I'm so excited to have next year is Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Like we're all talking about the receivers and like Bo Jackson and Arthur Smith run game. That's going to be something cool to watch.
Yeah. So let's talk about that roster a bit and how, the portal and recruiting went. We can start off at running back. So, you mentioned Jackson. He'll obviously be the guy. Will Isaiah West be number 2?
Yeah.
Looking at that roster. Because, he was a, good recruit and, seemed.
And I think that Jacoby Jackson will probably be that third back, bring some experience in that room as well. But the kid that committed, his mom committed to Tennessee, and he wanted to come to Ohio State, and he obviously ended up at Ohio State anyway. I think it sounds like he's going to play a lot of running back. And
we got Legend Bay or something like that.
Legend Bay, yeah. And then we got Turbo Rogers, so it's going to be.
Yep, I knew about Rogers. Yeah.
So it's going to be fun to see what they're going to do, especially with the new special teams coordinator come in. I can really see Legend Bay and Turbo Rogers being the kickoff and punt returners this season. I know they're young, but you might as well. They're electric with the ball in their hand. You might as well find a way to get the ball in their hand.
That's good to know because I was thinking Bay was going to likely play D-back, so I'm glad you told me that. Yeah.
We're also going to see too because West and Bo Jackson are both out for the spring because they're getting like I think some cleanup surgeries, nothing major, just like hey, clean you up, you'll be good for the regular season. And people are like, oh, this is not ideal, but like I think it is actually very ideal because your 1-2 backs are not getting they're going to be healthy, they're not going to be getting a lot of pounding, like taking a lot of hits or anything.
Yeah.
And then in spring ball, we're going to get to see what like Legend Bay and Turbo do. Like they're going to be running with the ones probably most.
And Jacoby Jackson, and with Jacoby Jackson learning the playbook.
Yeah.
Except Jackson and Roger are the two guys that really could benefit a lot, I think.
Yeah.
In the spring.
It's great. It's just great for depth. I think just
is Bay in there for spring?
Yeah.
Is he early enrolling? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And then obviously QB, not a lot of questions there. Will Tavian St. Clair be the backup? I was just assuming he would be.
Yeah. I know that with us bringing in Justin Martin, that's just like another Gunnar Hope situation.
Okay.
Justin Martin, I think what I hear with Justin Martin, he just wants to play football, and I heard he wants to possibly be a coach sometime,
Okay.
And that's what a lot of quarterbacks do who know they're in the prime. In the prime of the decline of their career. So it becomes something we could look out for. But Tavion is going to be starting is going to be starting quarterback in 2027 probably, but he'll be the backup this year.
Yeah, with Tavion,
that makes sense.
Tavion, he was just last year. Obviously, was just get on campus, get your feet acclimated. This year, it's like you expect him to take a little bit of a jump in the spring. He's obviously not going to beat out Sayin unless something crazy happens or like an injury. But
Sayin would have to get hurt. He would have to get hurt. Yeah.
But this is where you would want to see Tavion begin to elevate, potentially use his legs. Because Tavion's special, man. Like, I mean, him and Bryce Underwood, like they talk about Bryce Underwood as like the second coming of like Cam Newton and like all these crazy. Tavion was right there behind him, and he's a local kid.
Tavion's a very large person too. He's a big guy.
He is. No, he's large, like big frame, but he's not filled out yet too. If another year or two of him on Mickey Marotti's strength program, he's going to be a beast. And I can't wait to watch him because I'm all for him because like he's a local kid, like down Bellefontaine, Ohio, a couple towns over from me, and it's just he's a local kid, like Buckeye through and through. So I think he gets it because he understands it's a process. You're not just handed the starting job here; you got to earn it. And he's going to be a really good player in 2 years.
The one, you guys obviously lost, Lincoln Keenholz in the portal. No shock that he left. I was a little surprised at Louisville. that doesn't seem like a great scheme fit for him. But Jeff Brom is great with QBs, so I trust that he sees something in him.
Yeah, I think Lincoln's going to play well at Louisville. It's going to be fun to see what Lincoln does because, I watched him at the Cardale Jones celebrity softball thing for Buckeye Cruise for Cancer.
Yep.
Dude in a minute and a half hit 23 home runs in a home run derby in a softball tournament. So he's a great all-around athlete. So
he's a freaky athlete. He's such a natural. Jeff Brom's such a good coach. I think Jeff Brom's a guy who maximizes guys. I mean, you saw what he did with Tyler Shuck. And, Shuck kind of went from Oregon to Texas Tech, just kind of floating all over the place.
He was all over.
Made him a second-round pick. Now he's tearing up with the Saints. I think Brom is a guy who is gonna. There's so much good stuff with Lincoln. You just got to find out what he does well. Brom's gonna figure that out, maximize him. So I think it's a great fit, actually.
Okay.
I mean, Georgia Tech. I would have liked to maybe see Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Will Haynes King, but I think he's gonna do very well at Louisville.
That's good to know. Yeah, because I guess in my head I was kind of conceptualizing him as more of a Devin Brown type guy and not as good of a thrower.
No. I honestly think he's more natural than Devin. Much more
That's
natural.
Good to know.
Much more smoother. Much better athlete. Brown was like, a lot of heart, but like some accuracy issues.
Yeah.
I think Lincoln is a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, we're not that far removed from Brown being there, and he's at an FCS school now, so that does, talk. Speak something to that.
In the Cotton Bowl, where it was when Kyle McCord left, and Devin Brown started. Devin Brown really didn't do anything, and then Lincoln came in, and he was a true freshman at the time.
Yeah,
I personally thought there was a noticeable difference. I thought Lincoln was the better player right away.
Yeah,
other people were like, "Oh, he stinks." They looked at the stat line. Like he didn't turn it over. Like I thought. No. It was very.
And you were so limited with Brown too. Like you just couldn't call the whole offense.
No, and it's like with came in and it's like we're down basically the entire line. No Marv. Like so many guys were opted out. It was just such against like one of Missouri's best teams in the past 15 years. So I thought Lincoln. Honestly,
I remember watching that game.
Really well given the situation. But other people say otherwise. But
Now let's move to receiver. One of the most interesting portal moves of the winter that I liked a lot was Devin McEwen coming in for you guys. Was very good at UTSA, their team. I've enjoyed watching. He had 95 targets left. There. I mean, that's a significant amount. 65 catches. At 8.7 ADOT. That's not too far, but that he was a first down target for them a lot. That move the chains guy. I think obviously Smith will be the guy, but McEwen, Innes, and Kyle Parker coming from LSU. You guys should have at least a deeper position group than last year, if not better at the top end.
Yeah, I think we're going to be a lot deeper at wide receiver. Obviously, Jeremiah is Jeremiah. I think Devin McHugh and Brandon Innes and Kyle Parker, and I'm going to throw the freshman in there, Chris Henry Jr.
Okay.
I just think they're going to be so solid. Now, how is Ryan Day and Arthur Smith going to coexist about getting those guys the ball, knowing that I'm going to throw the tight ends in this room as well. You got Mason Williams. You got Mason Williams coming in. You have
and Hunter Welsing from Northwestern is another decent one.
We still have Bennett Christian. We still have I think
is Nate Roberts back or did he?
Yes, Nate Roberts is back. Nate Roberts. We love Nate Roberts. We have Ohio State tried to get him a touchdown. I think it was against Purdue or something. They were really trying to get him a touchdown. I think. Nate Roberts. Let me tell you, that guy is gonna be special. He played a ton this year in like goal line packages, special teams. He is a great blocker. He's played some fullback. Nate Roberts though is gonna be a guy who's gonna I think elevate and really maybe not this year, but in the year after, he's gonna be our top tight end for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be how Ryan Day and Arthur Smith and Keenan Bailey, and Cortez and Tyler Bowen work with this off. That's why the spring is going to be a lot of fun. I don't want to see Jeremiah Smith play and Julian Sand play in the spring game.
Yeah.
Because we already know what they're going to do. I want to see the other guys, like how some of these package sets. Obviously, they're not going to show anything at the spring game because it's the spring game. But that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about Hunter Welsing. I think he's going to be a better fit than Max Clare.
Yeah.
Than what Max Clare was last year. I just think as an overall tight end, he just fits Ohio State better than what Max Clare did.
I mean, I thought Will Kazmarek was our best tight end last year, just by far.
Overall.
For what he did, like, I think he exceeded in the passing game. I thought as a receiver, he proved to be a much better receiver than people thought, and then he was just an absolute road grader at blocking. The tight ends, I think will take a step forward. Back to receiver though. I know we mentioned all these receivers. We're forgetting one guy, and it's David Adolph. And I know people like
he's so tall, like his frame is so unique. Yeah.
And that's exactly why. Because we got to go to the Woody a couple times this year. I remember one time I was in the Woody, and I saw. You see all the guys walking. You see like Sonny Styles in person. You're like, that is like a man child. Like, oh my gosh, he's massive. You see Jeremiah Smith, you're like, yeah, that's a generational player.
Katie McDonald.
But the one guy who's with the receivers and he like catches your eye and you're like, huh, his frame is different. Is David Adolph? He's 6'5", 210. He had a couple he played good against Rutgers. He had a drop or two, but he had some catches. And he's returning, and I think there's something about a guy his size. They trust him. He's had playing time. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a good an insane year, but a breakout year for a college guy, like
20, 30 catches and 4 or 5 touchdowns. Something like that.
Maybe like 200-300 yards. Like 20 catches max, a couple touchdowns.
Yeah.
But a breakout year for him which would absolutely turn some heads, I think.
Okay. No, that's good. Yeah.
And then McCune. One last thing, McCune. I love that because from UTSA because he's just so good. If you watch some of the clips, all he does, like majority of his targets were just like screens, like bubble screens, or screens, and that's Ryan Day loves those.
That's going to help Brandon Ennis too.
Yeah, so he fits our offense perfectly.
Yeah, I think it's a good mix. Like I'd mentioned, is A-Dot. You had Smith who was over 11, Tate was over 14, Graham was over 14. Then you have McEwen who's 8. Like that, there's a significant difference, and that tells me you're throwing screens and short balls a lot. So moving to the O-line, seems like certainly not as much movement this year as last year for O-line. What is it? The whole left side is back, right? With Searveld, Montgomery, and in the center, they're all back, aren't they?
It's like basically the entire
whole offensive line's back.
But Tegra.
Yeah. Which you went to Kentucky,
Which I mean, if you really look at it, you have Josh Padilla, you have Ian Moore. I think Searveld's going to move back to guard. I just think he fits better at guard. I think if you put him back at guard and you start Ian Moore and Phillip Daniels, if Phillip Daniels just keeps progressing, you can move Phillip Daniels to left tackle, put Ian Moore at right tackle. In the Cotton Bowl when we put Ian Moore and Gabe Fins, we put Ian Moore in the game. We were actually moving the ball good
to know. Yeah,
really well. So
I remember him going in. So
I think moving. I think we move because he came in for Searveld because Searveld got banged up in that game. Yeah. I think if we move Searveld back to guard with Luke Montgomery, Carson Hinsman, I'm talking, you couldn't ask for 3 better maulers and nasty dudes in the middle. And then
still there. He was a high recruit.
Who's that?
A couple years. Gabe Van Sickle. Is he still in guard? He was a massive recruit a couple years ago.
Big time in the Cotton Bowl. Though.
Yeah, he was disappointing in the Cotton Bowl. No,
but that doesn't mean he won't progress and be a good player.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you show me someone who blocked Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesdor this year, and I will show you. I will show you.
Yeah.
No one blocked him. No one's blocking those two. With that being said, I do think this line, they were one of the best lines in the country, I think.
Yeah.
Up until the big games. Against Texas, though, the Texas game, they shut down the Texas pass rush. Like Colin Simmons, big goose egg, didn't do anything, talked all that smack going into the game. And then, so I thought they were one of the best lines up until they played Indiana, Miami. Indiana, I think, saying could have played a little better, could have gotten the ball out a little quicker, but Miami absolutely just ragdolled them. But with that being said, they're returning. They're a year older. They're already a great line. I think they're going to be like possibly a historically good this year. I mean, I'm very confident in them.
Yeah, I don't think any of the true freshmen will play, but Sam Greer was a massive recruit to a tackle.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
would assume he won't play.
I don't think this offensive line will be 1997 good with Orlando Pace type players, but it's going to be 2014 at the end of the year, 2014 good. And in 2002, good when we had Maurice Claret as well. Those were some really good offensive lines.
Did you ever see the video of Sam Greer? Just like it was like a drill, like a pass rush drill, and he was blocking. I
haven't seen that one. No.
Oh, it's so funny. It's the guy tries to do like a spin move on him, and Greer catches him in the middle of the spin move, and the guy just like stiffens like a board. And just slowly collapses. It was just Greer's technique is so good. It was so funny. If you just type in Sam Greer,
I will check it out. Yeah.
If it's like from a year ago, it's so funny.
I'll check that out. That sounds interesting. Now let's move to the defensive side of the ball and D-line, where you guys brought in a haul in the transfer portal. One of our regular guys, Jake, does Bam After Dark and then Tide Talk, and talked about Quay Russo, who was hurt for a bit, and then James Smith, both Bama guys coming over, and then John Walker from UCF, an inside interior guy.
I think when you're replacing, and then you get Kenyatta Jackson back. I think when you're replacing Caden Curry, who just had a phenomenal year this year, you had Caden McDonald have a great year. You get some guys back. You get, hopefully Edric Houston can stay healthier. I'm excited for this defensive line. I'm actually excited.
Should be really good.
This whole defensive group is going to be really good. I think they're going to be nastier than what we were last year, and that's saying a lot because Caden Curry was a monster. Obviously, as a guy who's an offensive line and defensive line coach at the junior high level, I always watch. Those are the two positions I really watch in college. And nice. I'm just so excited because watching Quay Russo and James Smith and the kid from UCF, I'm just so excited. John Walker. I'm just so excited because they're big and the three of them just fit a Matt Patricia scheme. If you look at the New England Super Bowl Patriots defenses, those three just fit the mold. And then you add Edric Houston in the mix and Kenyatta Jackson and probably the best linebacker room in the country, arguably, with Sincere Johnson as the freshman coming in and all the freshmen. And then the transfer.
Allegro was a pretty good transfer from Wisconsin, too.
Yeah. And then Pettijohn, TJ Alford coming back. I know we lost Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese, but.
Funny, you guys hadn't mentioned Reese, who I thought, someone asked me this. Irrespective of position, who was the best player? I kind of thought it might have been Arvell Reese. He was really, really good.
He had a really good first half of the season. He kind of did at the end.
I think people figured it out.
Yeah, Arvell was really good, but he wasn't as consistent as I thought he would be near the end.
Okay.
I love what Ohio State's done though with the depth on the defensive line. Q Russell.
Yeah.
If you put on the tape, I think it was against Oklahoma. He has some nasty, just natural pass rush moves, the dude. So he's going to be like your quintessential edge guy who's just going to
he will be
wreak havoc. I think when you pair him with Kenyatta, Kenyatta's only 21, and it's like he's in his 5th year, but he's young. He's a young guy, and he's coming off of a pretty good year. Like I think he had 6 or 7.5 sacks, and he missed a couple games with like a sprained ankle type deal.
Probably our block. He'll probably wear our block O too.
Kenyatta's gonna have a monster year this year as long as he stays healthy. And we did a show like Brandon Bowen, who played offensive line for us a couple through like the late 2017, 2018, 2019. Nice. He was high on Kenyatta. He's like, man, he's gonna have a great back half of the season. He really did. I believe he played really well against Michigan and stuff. So Kenyatta's gonna be great. John Walker I love too because he's a good run stuffer. So I love the D-line move.
The story with John Walker is he wanted to be at Ohio State, but Ohio State wanted to use him as a development piece. So initially he's coming to Ohio State and he's developed into that player, and we're getting him at the right time, I think.
Yeah.
Good. No, that's good to know. But now, let's look at the defensive backs a bit, where probably the position you guys lost the most guys at, and looking, top to bottom, at least depth wise, a lot of transfers out. I noticed that. But, with both McLean and Matthews coming back, you're also returning two big pieces. And then Terry Moore was one of the better safeties in the portal from Duke. So, you're adding a good guy there who.
Earl Little Jr.
Yeah.
Dominic Kelly. I'm actually excited for Dominic Kelly.
Yeah. He's good.
Okay.
Flip on the tape. Flip on some Dominic Kelly tape. He's right there.
Cam Coleman. I think Cam Coleman in this scheme could fit well. I mean, I know he's been I think he's a depth piece more than anything, but Cam Coleman's one of those guys that's like hit or miss. But I think with this. Yeah, Cam Coleman. Yeah, I'm sorry. Cam
Coleman's the receiver.
Cam Coleman's the wide receiver. I'm sorry.
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
I've been up since 3:45. So, but Cam Calhoun, he's a depth piece. I think he's going to be all right. He's going to come in and he's going to be like Lorenzo Styles, I think, but a little bit better. And I love Lorenzo. I covered the Styles brothers when they were in high school at Pickerington. So, I have the utmost respect for the Styles family, and but I think Cam Calhoun is going to be a little bit better version than Lorenzo Styles.
Will Devin Sanchez be a full timer?
Yeah, okay. Sanchez is going to be our lockdown corner. Him and Jermaine are going to be great. I thought Jermaine was great too. He got against Indiana. He got mossed like twice by I think like Charlie
Becker.
But once again, who did Charlie Becker not moss this year? Like the guys our guys are losing to were just unreal. Like Ruben Bain, Charlie Becker. These are guys who just they did it to anyone and everyone. So it's not. I'm not like, oh, our guys are bad. Like no, our guys were right. Like Jermaine was always in the right position, and that's what I like about the Dominic Kelly, because if you flip on his tape, he has natural just man ability, and he's always in the right position. It's just like, hey, if you turn your head, or just they coach him up to be a little quicker, play the ball a little better, he's gonna be a really good player. But the two safeties like Terry Moore, I'm super psyched about, and he didn't even play last year because he had that injury, and then Earl Little, I think is probably gonna be taken. He's going to be kind of like the Caleb Downs of our defense. It sounds like he's going to be like kind of like in the nickel, but they're probably going to use him similar to Caleb. How is that going to go? I don't know, because you cannot replace a guy like Caleb Downs. Like
you're not going to do a like for like. He was too good.
Never. No, you're getting. I mean, these guys are not bad. They're all ACC safeties. These guys that are coming in. But you'll never be able to replace a Caleb Downs. He's a generational player. But I think they're gonna move Earl Little like into the Caleb Downs position, and then Terry's gonna be more of a traditional safety. And it's great though having McLean back there too. It's the deepest safety room in America right now. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an Ohio State fan. I think we have three really, really good safeties back there. All with tons of experience, and McLean played really well last year. I don't remember McLean really making.
He had a really good game against Michigan.
I really don't remember him making like a crucial mistake.
It's important,
The only thing about McLean was I would have liked to see him maybe get a pick, because he didn't have any picks. So I would like to make over out of him, but always in the right position. I feel like
that's important. Yeah, no, that's. That's good to know. Then, last but not least, special team wise, you guys brought in Hawkins, the kicker from Baylor, correct?
He's here to save the day.
Yeah, and he's played a lot of ball,
day, man.
Yeah,
that's enough. That's all I have to say. I think he's going to be really good for Ohio State.
Yeah.
We got Joe McGuire too, the punter. Joe McGuire's been solid. He's been really solid the past couple of years, and I think he's finally getting the respect he deserves. Like McLarty's gone, but McGuire's I think has been great. And our punting unit before him was kind of like iffy. Now I have a lot more confidence in it because I feel like we got Joe McGuire back.
Okay.
He's gonna do his job and do it well.
Yeah, I saw McLarty committed to Arizona State.
Yeah.
In the portal. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. If suddenly he's like coughing corner punting it inside the 5 every time, I'm gonna have a lot of questions. But I don't think it's gonna be
No, I'm sure you're right about that. But roster wise, I mean, going into the year, there won't be many in the country that'll be, deeper than you guys that have, the top level talent. So one thing I did want to share, we can talk about a little bit. Looking at the way too early Big Ten power rankings. So wanted to ask you guys your thoughts on this, but not just Ohio State, obviously them, but everywhere. Like, where does anything stand out to you as one team being way too high, one team being way too low? I was curious about that.
I think Michigan State, I mean, obviously we don't know. I think Michigan State's going to be a lot better. I love Pat Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I like that hire a lot too.
I think I would put them at 13 and just drop everybody else down.
Okay.
But that's about it. I think the top 10 is perfect. I really do. I mean, I would still put Indiana at number 1. Just because
I would until they lose.
I would put Indiana at number 1 just because they're the defending national champions and Kurt Senghetti is a great coach.
Also after watching what they did to Oregon in the 2 games this year, I don't know how we can just. Yeah,
and I would honestly put us at 2. I would honestly put us at 2 and then Oregon at 3 because realistically we have Dante Moore and Julian Sayin. Julian Sayin had a better year. We have better receivers. I think you could flip a coin between. I think I would go Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, but everything else looks fine. Like in my opinion, outside of Michigan State, I think Michigan State.
I would put Washington one step. I would put Washington above Michigan. I think returning Williams, even though there was obviously the drama there, and I think Fish is a pretty good coach too. So I would probably put Washington a touch higher. And Michigan has a lot of unknowns. There was a lot of drama there in November and December.
I would throw Penn State over Illinois. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna have a bounce back year.
I think Illinois is gonna regress too.
I would honestly too. I would drop Nebraska a little bit. I'm just not. After they lost Raiola, I just don't. I don't.
Yeah, I think if you move Michigan State up to 12, or 11, and just drop everybody else down. I think Michigan State had a good offseason, and then bringing in Pat Fitzgerald, look what he did at Northwestern. I think what he can do at Michigan State could be a little bit better.
I would honestly move Northwestern to 10. I think they're going to have a really good year.
Yeah, I think Northwestern too. Yeah,
I like the Chip Kelly, and then
love it.
Jerry Neuheisel coaching QBs who did solid. Yeah,
that makes sense. Put Northwestern 10. Northwestern 10, Minnesota 11, Michigan State 12. I think that'd be great. Good.
I think I'm not saying I put Minnesota higher than 10. I do think they're going to be better than they were last year. Fleck is very consistent all the time, and last year's a year I thought they were going to regress quite a bit and would be a rebuilding year. They handled that quite well.
You know what? Too, really like. We went to the Minnesota game, me and Cass, and I really like Drake Lindsay.
He was a lot better than I thought he would be. Yeah.
After thinking about it, I'd put them at 9, Northwestern 10, Iowa 11.
But it's funny too because we went to the Minnesota game, and our take was kind of Drake Lindsey exceeded our expectations. Just when they were. I mean, I'm not saying I watch a ton of Minnesota football.
Yeah.
I thought Drake Lindsey played really well, and then Coy Perch I thought was kind of like a disappointment. I was like, oh.
Last year was regressed in 2025. Absolutely.
I do really like Lindsey and Darius Taylor too. So
I do think the top 4 teams make the playoffs next year. And they all like Ohio State plays all 3 of them too. So that's what's wild.
Yeah.
But again, sleeper team. I'm really, just because the head coach and what he did at Northwestern, I'm really high on Michigan State, and I think he's gonna be out to prove something too.
Yeah. One you guys had mentioned. I don't dare drop Iowa any lower than they are because I was never worse than that. They always win 8 every year. They win 8 games.
Yeah, 8 games.
Yeah,
they're perfect.
They're fun to play with on College Football 26 though.
Yeah.
Their floor is like the Pinstripe Bowl, and their ceiling is the Cheez-It Bowl.
Yeah. I do wonder about that might be fair. Yeah. Illinois is what I wonder about. I like, Caton Hauser coming in from ECU, could be decent at QB, but they lost a lot. I wonder if they can keep up with the success they've had the last 2 years.
Brett Bielema is a good coach, though, as much as
he is.
Altmaier's I think their best quarterback in history too. It's I think that what was it last year? This year was like the first time I think they ever won back-to-back bowl games. It was some stat they accomplished this year with Bielema, but
yeah,
when you have like a team that's like a historic team like that, I guess like a historic run for a school like that, I feel like there has to be a little bit of regression.
I know you're Mike. I know you're a neutral fan on this SEC, like your SEC network. Do you believe that the Big Ten has better coaches than the SEC?
Who? No one's ever asked me that question. That's a great question. Who?
I'm obviously a homer. I think the Big Ten does. I think the Big Ten does have better coaches than the SEC. Dan Lanning, Kurt Cincinnati, Ryan Day, Kyle Whittingham. Jed
I was looking at offensive and defensive coordinators, and I think I made the observation. I think the Big Ten has better offensive coordinators, and the SEC has better defensive coordinators. The head coaches, though, I didn't look at a side-by-side list. And right now you get the bump. I mean, Cignetti would be number 1 overall right now. Yeah. Kirby's probably 2. Yeah.
Ryan Day.
The thing I would look at, though, like, I'm not sold on Ryan Silverfield. Jeff Lebby, we still don't know about at Mississippi State if he can turn it around. Will Stein's an unknown. But you look at the guys at the bottom of the Big Ten. Barry Odom's a pretty good coach. Greg Schiano's a pretty good coach. Pat Fitzgerald's a pretty good coach. Yeah. Now, you will not meet anybody all season anywhere who is lower on Mike Locksley than I am. I don't understand how he still has a job.
No, dude.
I don't understand either.
I think they're frauds.
You look at his head coaching record. We're going to deep dive into this because I also am not above piling on Mike Locksley when I have the time to do this.
No, let's do it. I got the time. Like I'm all for it.
I'm all for it too.
His head coaching record overall, 39 and 75. That is including New Mexico, where he was 2-26 over 2.5 seasons. But he had the back-to-back 8-win years. He's went 4-8 the last 2 years.
I mean, I know Wisconsin might think different, but Luke Fickell's still a damn good coach.
Well,
his schedules have been brutal, and it's hard to.
They've also had extremely bad luck with quarterbacks getting hurt.
Yeah, too. Matt Rule, I think, is a pretty good coach. PJ Fleck, pretty good coach. I mean,
Kirk Ferentz, legend.
Kirk Ferentz is the winningest Big Ten coach of all time. Kirk Ferentz.
That sucks for us Buckeye fans to say, because we got to think about it. Like, Cody Hayes did that with playing 8 to 10 games a year.
Is it winningest as in like
most Big Ten wins? Most Big Ten wins.
Because I'm like, if it's percentage, and like I think Ryan Day has to be because
Ryan Day is the number 1 in the country.
Since 1978, I was only had 2 head coaches.
It's crazy.
Hayden Fry. They're the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. They're the Pittsburgh Steelers of college.
You Hayden Fry and then Ferentz. Those are the only two they've had since '78.
Yep. My brother's a Steelers fan, and we were talking about coaches, and I was like, "Oh yeah, the Bengals have had 11 franchise coaches since 1968," and he's like, "Yeah, the Steelers have had 6 since 1933."
Yeah, yeah.
6 since 1933.
They've had like 3 since the Vietnam War started.
Yeah.
Back to Mike Locksley though, because I just want to like, you know, guys transfer out of the Maryland program. I feel like they get better. Like example 1A, Roman Hemby goes to Indiana, 1,000 yards, national championship, looks like a stud running back. Maryland, like they didn't even use him. I feel like so like that gives me hope. Like maybe Justin Martin is just like, you know, a diamond in the rough. Like maybe he's just a great quarterback, and like Mike Locksley is just a bad coach.
I was a little surprised Malik Washington didn't portal over the offseason because he was good as a true freshman there. Yeah. Like he's good enough for somebody to take a shot on him, and maybe they just gave him a good NIL money.
He is going. I think he's going to end up wearing LSU eventually. He just fits Lane Kiffin.
He could, yeah. He does fit that system too. That is a fair point.
I'm a Lane Kiffin hater though, because like everyone hypes Lane Kiffin as a great coach, and like yes, his Ole Miss team finally onto the level, but they did it without him, and it's like he has never won anything major. I feel like he's never won. He's never won anything of importance. Never like a conference championship or like it's just
he got fired in the National Football League where everybody gets fired. So.
Yeah.
But like he doesn't do anything though. Like he just gets hyped, gets a new contract, leaves for a new team, gets hyped, leaves for a new team, gets a new contract. It's just like a cycle. Like if I want a guy that's gonna win, it's not Lane Kiffin. Like he
hangs out with 22-year-old girls.
It's just I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get the hype. Like okay, he did win the Conference USA, but I'm talking about like major championships. Like I'm talking about like
he has elevated the last 2 schools he's been on a lot though. I will give him that.
Let me tell you, as a coordinator, as a coordinator at Alabama and a head coach at Florida Atlantic, he's 0-2 against the Buckeyes.
That is true.
Would we expect anybody at Florida Atlantic to beat the Buckeyes though?
No.
We would not. Yeah.
Probably should have beat us at Alabama. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I always ask these 2 questions regarding the conference. So, for coaches, I think we're all going to be in consensus for the first one. Which coach is on the hottest seat going into the season?
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, I was going to say Lincoln.
Okay, I think it's Mike Locksley, but that.
Oh yeah,
well.
Luke Fickell.
And Lincoln Riley.
18 of them, everybody. Yeah.
I think Lincoln Riley's the hottest because this is it. You have to figure out a way to beat Ohio State. You have to figure out a way to beat Oregon.
And their recruiting class was legit too. There's
number 1 in the country.
The roster.
Number 1 in the country. Yeah. So.
And Miami was a pretty good QB too.
And unfortunately, our guy Luke Fickell was probably second, and then I don't think Mike Locksley's seat is ever hot. So
no, I mean,
is it because their expectations they're just content with how they are?
Yeah, even their basketball team is garbage this year.
I can go out. I'll give you one outside the box. I know he just signed an extension. Matt Rule, I could see that getting ugly. If they do not have a good, if they
I don't hate that
without Raiola. That fan base, and I love Nebraska. They have great fans. They
do.
They are awesome fan base, but they deserve more. And like, if that does not go well, I could see him get on the hot seat.
Here's a coach who I think the seat could get warm after the end of the year. And hear me out. If Oregon's expectations are to win a national championship this year, if he gets trounced again in the 2nd or 3rd round of the playoffs, them Oregon fans and Phil Knight are going to be really questioning if Dan Lanning is the actual guy that can take him to the promised land.
I could see him going to the NFL. I could see NFL for Dan Lanning.
I could see him like kind of a soft. It would be the same with Lincoln Riley, I think. I don't think they'd fire him. It would be behind closed doors. Hey, Dan Lincoln, maybe you should take this other job that wants you to go there, and we just we won't charge you a buyout and you won't pay one to us, and we'll just see you later.
Watch Florida State.
Yeah.
That could be an instance where Mike Norvell gets fired, Oregon gets trounced in the Fiesta Bowl by Ohio State or Georgia or Miami, just showing. And they look at Dan Lanning, Phil Knight says, look, we'll buy out your contract. Go to Florida State. Become the head coach at Florida State.
I mean,
I just got balloons.
Why did that happen? Yeah.
I have one. I have a take if we want to get crazy here.
I do.
Is from Kansas City, Missouri. I could see NFL potentially for him. Like, I see him could be like an NFL coach. I could see him making that jump. Andy Reid's getting up there. The Chiefs are kind of in an odd potential rebuild. If this is Andy Reid's last season in Kansas City, you don't think the Chiefs would want to potentially pair Mahomes with Dan Lanning and kind of build around that? I feel like that would be an interesting option. I could see him making the jump there.
The other one, another guy, we were talking about Lincoln Riley. You know, he had the ties with the Jordan Brand stuff at Oklahoma. If the Belichick experiment keeps failing at North Carolina, I could see Lincoln Riley being a guy they would pay a lot of money to go there for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then there'll be less pressure in the ACC.
The ACC is wide open, too. Like, obviously, we saw Miami go on a run this year in the playoff. Like, Duke won it. Like, Manny Diaz, year 2, they won the ACC. Yeah. So, ACC is wide open.
I honestly think Florida State is a job to really look out for. Like, Florida State has the resources.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, as a player, if I was a player, I wanted to go to school there. Like, I love the colors. I love the atmosphere. Yeah. I just think, obviously, I do think Mike Norvell is a pretty decent coach. I just don't think he fits Florida State.
Assistant coach as well has been one inhibitor.
I think Dan Lanning, and if it would happen, I don't think it's going to. I don't think Dan Lanning. I'm not going to sit here and say Dan Lanning is going to get fired from Oregon or he's going to mutual agree. I think he's going to make a deep run, and I don't think they're going to get rid of Dan Lanning. But Lincoln Riley is a name that I think would be a hot place for him to go to Florida State.
It's such a
great
North Carolina.
Yeah, it's funny you brought up that one too. Where I had brought up, sorry to cut you off there, Dan, but I was going to. I brought up if some people thought Marcus Freeman might go to the NFL, the logical next move for Notre Dame would have been Mike Elko. I think Lincoln Riley could have been a Texas A&M candidate. Yeah. No, that would have happened.
Like what Cass saying with just Florida State too, like they have so much resources, and I feel like it's so easy to recruit there because it's one, you can get the kids from Georgia, you can get the kids from South Florida. You don't have to do a lot of convincing.
Alabama, because it's right there.
They've historically recruited New Orleans very well.
In New Orleans, and Texas right there, and it's like you don't have to do a ton of convincing to be like, hey kids, come to Florida State, because like, you know, Panama City is like right down the road. Like, we got beaches.
Destin, Florida's.
Go to school. It's warm. Like, come here, play football. I think it's so easy to sell.
No, I like that one. Yeah, those are good options. The second coaching question I always ask is, what coach in the Big Ten do you think, given a good season or two, could be a candidate for a blue blood job? It's tougher in the SEC and Big Ten with this one because a lot of the jobs are already really massive. But who do you think could be in line for a bigger job if
PJ? I can see PJ Fleck right away because I feel like
he's probably he was already rumored to Michigan.
I feel like if PJ Fleck has another like a 10-2 season, if he makes the playoff, I absolutely see.
Yeah, Jed Fish was my answer last offseason with this one, by the way, Cass, who you said.
I think Jed Fish.
The other one I could say now, if Michigan State goes on a heater for a year or two, big programs would be interested in Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit now. In our moving to our end segment here. Obviously the big topical thing this coming weekend is Super Bowl coming up, and Buckeyes on both sides. What are you guys going to be looking for in that one? What's getting you excited for the game?
I think for once, for me as a Bengals fan, and Dan can say this as a Broncos fan. I know he's not going to say this because his team just got beat. But this is, for me, it's the first time in a long, long time where I have actually not picked a team to sit there and root for. I'm really hoping for a great game. Like, I think the last time was Denver versus Seattle, when Seattle just trounced Denver. But
Percy Harvin kick return. Yep.
I just think this is going to be a really good Super Bowl. But I am going to pick the Seahawks to win. I just think they got a little bit more power fire with the Big Ten backfield. I'm calling it the Big Ten backfield. I know he played in the Pac-12, but Sam Darnold, USC, you got Kenneth Walker, you got Jackson Smith-Njigba. I just think Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to be a dog. I know the odds makers saying Sam Darnold's going to win the MVP, but I think Kenneth Walker and JSN are going to win. Either one of them is going to win the MVP.
Yeah.
I think Mike Vrabel is a pretty darn good coach. But if you really look at it, New England hasn't scored more than 14 points in the playoffs. If you look down their schedule, they played a lot of fired coaches, the Bengals and the Jets twice. So how good is New England completely? And they got lucky in the playoffs. Denver, and Dan will know this, lost Bo Nix. He was out in that game. I think if Bo Nix was in that game, Denver wins handily.
Handily.
He's Dolphins fan.
I'm not. I just have the shirt. I'm just wearing this shirt tonight. But a fired coach who the Patriots played twice.
Yeah, I just think New England's defense is really good, really good. I just think Seattle's got is more firepower, and they got a really good defense. I just don't think and I love Travion Henderson. I just don't think Vrabel's offense is going to be able to move the ball against Seattle. I think it's going to be a good game, though. Really low scoring, though.
Okay.
I'm hoping JSN goes for 300 yards, Rose Bowl performance again. As a Broncos fan, I'm just so hurt how the season ended because I think we were the better team. I think Seattle's going to work them. This is no disrespect to Vrabel or Travion. I love them. I hope, if they get a ring.
They're Mumford, too. We keep forgetting about him.
Yeah. If those guys get a ring, I'm happy for those three. No one else on the Patriots. It's just, I think it's going to be an interesting. It's funny. It's going to be a mental conundrum, I think, for some Michigan fans, like Dave Portnoy, for example, because he's a Patriots fan. So if it's either his Patriots win and the Buckeyes do it and you have to credit the Buckeyes, or his Patriots don't win and the Seahawks win and he has to but he loses at the expense of Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
So it's like the mental conundrum, like that button, press the button meme, with the guy.
Yep, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. That's what I'm kind of looking for. I don't know. I think it'll be a good game, but in my heart, I think Seattle is going to run away.
And you'll have to go back in the past of our archives, but this is it. The sports calendar ends on Sunday, and then it restarts out during March Madness.
It does.
Okay.
I broke it down a couple of years ago, so I'll just do it real quick. The sports calendar starts at March Madness, then opening day baseball. And then you got training camp off season, NFL's preseason, college football starts, NFL starts, and in between that you got hockey and baseball. But before training camp and all that, you got the NBA finals, the NHL finals, and then you got the the college football playoffs and the NFL playoffs, the national championship game, NFL, and then the Super Bowl. That's the ending of the sports calendar.
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it. Because think about it, after Sunday, it gets boring until March.
No, you forget though, because we have the Olympics, the Winter Olympics this year.
We do have the Olympics this year. Yeah.
I know we're getting off completely different tangent, but we are
That's
entering
okay.
one of the best like equinoxes in sports, because we're going from football to Winter Olympics to like March Madness, like Cass said, and then baseball and hockey and all this. And then when it kind of dies down and stuff, we get World Cup. We get World Cup soccer for that whole month.
We do the World Cup this summer.
Football.
Yeah.
So we're about to enter one of the best.
So basically, whenever it hits a even year, we're good, man. The sports
that's fair.
Especially, I just picked up golf. I mean,
Oh,
as a player now, I mean, sports never.
I really have. I'm not much of one, so yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I played a few times, but yeah.
I mean, I have this sign hanging up in my office here. It says, my wife got me. It says #1 fan club, and there's no off season. It's the Bengals, Reds, and Buckeyes. So.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, but Dan, Cass, want to thank you guys for being here again. Everybody, you can find them at a bunch of nuts. You've seen their tags at the bottom here on this banner throughout the show. So please go give them a follow. And thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
Thank you.